All right, you're tuned into MMA Canada and very excited to be talking to an individual competing at PFL Africa 3, which goes down on October 18th. Boule Godogo taking on Karim Henniene, two unbeaten professional bantamweight fighters going at it, and great having Karim back on the MMA Canada platform today. How's it going, man?
What's up, Darren? Looking good. What about you?
Yeah, no, having a good time, man, for sure. And I saw some gym pics with yourself and Olivier Poisson and a few other individuals as well. Seems like you're getting geared up and ready for that big semifinal.
Yeah, exactly. I've been training with those HO guys, Olivier Poisson, Michael Dufort, Frédéric Duprat, and many great guys from this gym. So, yeah, especially in the grappling department, this gym helped me a lot, yeah, with my jiu-jitsu.
No, I love hearing that, man. And I saw a post you had after your last fight where you were talking about how cool it was fighting for one of the biggest MMA promotions in the world and just getting to fight in the motherland, South Africa, to use your operative wording from the post. And just seems like you had a great time in Cape Town, even beyond, winning the fight and securing that split decision victory. I guess just all factors considered, can you kind of talk about the totality of that PFL Africa experience last time?
Oh, yeah, let me tell you about it. So PFL Africa, especially there in South Africa, it was like the most beautiful experience I ever had. Other than travel to Thailand, South Africa was beautiful. I really hope that they'll do all the PFL Africa down there. Like I'm kind of pissed. Like now they're doing to Rwanda and after that Benin. I think they should all do it in South Africa. Africa was beautiful. The fans were like no others. Like everywhere I was going, I was everybody want to greet me and everything. So yeah, there was a huge MMA fan base in South Africa. After that, to tell you about the fight itself, it worked perfectly as planned. You know, I fucking hate when people say it was I okay, it's fine. It was a split decision. When how the fuck a judge gives me 30-27? It doesn't make sense. And second of all, it was the game plan. You know, we know it was a striker. I was going to exchange the exchange. We knew it was going to be 50-50. You know, and I will win all the rounds with my takedown, with my grappling. So my coach tell me the striking exchange will probably go 50-50 and win the rounds with your takedown. This is how we're going to work. And I did the game plan as perfect as I could do it. And I win it with my hands raised. That's it. So, yeah, the matchup. And honestly, it was my easiest fight. If you look, all my previous fight, I was exhausted. I was tired after all my fight. This fight, I wasn't tired at all. Like the game plan worked perfectly, and it, for me, it was my easiest win, even easier than my quote to quote say UD decision. You know, so for me, it was my easiest fight, and also my best experience down there in South Africa. So from the fans, from the promotion, from our opponent, from the fight itself, everything was really beautiful, and I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, and it seemed like a great win all around. I mean, seemed like an individual who was a top 10 ranked competitor in South Africa and everything like that. And yeah, I mean, I guess that can be the really frustrating piece of MMA sometimes because some people don't always have the context to understand. Like they'll see a split decision, for instance, and kind of like you just articulated, it's like, oh, that must have been such a close fight. When the story of the fight is more so like, well, how the heck did that judge see it like that? So I would imagine that would be frustrating for you as a fighter.
Yeah, it was. Since like, you know, one judge gave me 30-27, one judge gave him a run, and one judge on crack gave him the whole fight. Like, so I guess not the whole fight, but two rounds, so whatever. So yeah, for me it was the easiest fight. I really liked the matchup. I'm like as people thought, I'm a great striker and a great grappler. You know, you can put me against the best striker, I will perform. You know, and obviously I will always have a weapon that they don't have. I have a really good grappling. It doesn't matter jiu-jitsu, wrestling. It's really high level, you know. So I can strike with anyone, and I will always have an advantage with my grappling. And even if I'm facing a grappler. My grappling is really good, so I will have a striking advantage since I'm good everywhere. So yeah, it was a great fight.
And I guess a piece that kind of fell into place more so after the fact was, I guess, the discussion around Francis Ngannou not being cage side for the card, despite being PFL Africa chairman. And it seemed like there were certain things going on behind the scenes that kind of played into that to an extent. It seems like some of it is still not necessarily public information, but that seemed like a piece that you were excited about for that card. Like, did you feel a type of way that Francis Ngannou wasn't in attendance for that one, or just any thoughts on his absence?
Not at all. Honestly, I don't care. I think I've already faced the most stressful event. As I can say, was Unified MMA when I fought on the card when there was Dana White looking for a fight. So Dana White and the whole UFC team was there. So this time I was really stressful. Because obviously all MMA fighters they all dream to be in the UFC. Obviously. So knowing that actually the matchmakers and the UFC president will be there at my fight, at Unify, that was stressful. But otherwise, I'm not like it's not like he's the UFC president or someone who can change my life. He's just the baddest man on the planet. Obviously, Francis Ngannou is like the best fighter, the most scariest fighter, but he's no UFC president or he don't have the ability to, change my life like Dana White could. So yeah, fighting in front of Dana White was definitely the most stressful thing I ever done. So after that, it doesn't matter who fighter is watching my fight. I've trained with already the best fighter, like from Rafael Fiziev to George St. Pierre. I trained with those guys, so I am no fanboy. I really I appreciate those guys what they did for the sport. I'm like it's just it's just a guy who's watching the fight, and is that he's there or not, it doesn't change nothing to my performance. And no, it doesn't stress me, or I don't care if he's there or not. But obviously, I respect his parkour. I respect everything he did for the sport. And especially him, President Ngannou, have like one of the craziest story in MMA from traveling from Cameroon to France, been homeless and ended up the biggest UFC superstar, the heavyweight champ. So I have a lot of respect for him. But that he's there watching my fight or not, it doesn't change nothing to me. But yeah, this time he will be there, and obviously I'll be happy that he'll be watching my fight, and obviously I want a picture with him because yeah, he's the man.
Yeah, you got the picture with Dana White at that unified card. It would make sense to get the Ngannou picture for this one.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Francis Ngannou is literally the scariest man on the planet. In my belief, Jon Jones was scared of Ngannou. Definitely, he was fucking like putting everybody in another stratosphere universe with his fucking uppercut, like that he threw to over him to Stipe Miocic. No, Francis Ngannou was the scariest puncher in the entire MMA world. So I think Jon Jones was scared. Jon Jones haven't knocked out anyone in like 10 years. So obviously he was scared of Francis Ngannou. That's why he took the Stipe Miocic exit. So yeah, Francis Ngannou is the scariest man on this planet. So it will be an honor to get a picture with him.
Yeah, I mean, truly a fearsome individual. Definitely casts a shadow over the combat sports landscape in a big way. But you referenced training with GSP at a certain juncture before, and you have had certain work in the Tristar gym fold, no doubt. I guess looking towards an upcoming fight with a prominent Tristar fighter, like what are your thoughts on that Aiemann Zahabi Chito Vera fight coming up at UFC Vancouver?
Yeah, it's finally his time. I'm cheering for him. I hope he fucking break to the top five and eventually be a contender for the belt. Because I don't know when the last time we had a Canadian fighting for the belt or a contender. So I think right now it will be a great opportunity for him to rank up the ranking. So hopefully we'll have another Canadian in Aiemann Zahabi contender for the belt.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful thing. And I guess like the last thing kind of attached to that GSP training point that you introduced, like what are some of the big lessons, or if there's even like a singular big lesson that you took away from your training interactions with George St. Pierre, someone many see as the GOAT of MMA, or at very least one of the greatest fighters who's ever been in the sport?
Yeah, 100%. Is there's one thing that I actually changing my game and uh, like changing my perspective. It was the fight that I finished my amateur career and I wanted to go professional. So I saw George in the locker room and we start talking, and he gave me that advice. He said, Karim, if I can give you one advice, it will be don't stay at one place. Travel. If you stay at one place, you're gonna stuck and you won't involve or see how actually your potential can go. So after he told me that, 2 months later, I went to Kill Cliff. At the time, it was Sanford. So yeah, it was 2 months after he told me that in the locker rooms, and I was like, damn. He said, Marcel, this is how I explode my potential. George was traveling everywhere. He was like, invest in yourself. Don't stay at one place. Because that's a mistake that most MMA fighters does. They'll be like, oh, I have to stay at one gym for loyalty, and some coach trying to put that in their head. Don't stay at one gym, otherwise it will be disloyalty. But it's not. If you want to improve, you got to go to the best boxing gym. You got to go to the best wrestling gym. You got to go to the best conditioning gym, and you have your MMA gym. So that being said, most MMA gym doesn't have the best boxing coach, doesn't have the best wrestling coach. So that being said, that's why I'm going to pound for pound for boxing. I'm going to Montreal Wrestling Club for wrestling, and sometimes I travel like Thailand, Florida, and stuff, and I'm actually planning another trip to Florida. But all that being said, it was because of George St. Pierre advice in the locker room.
Yeah, and an incredible individual to get advice from, and clearly a lot of great individuals shaping your progression as a fighter, and it's led you to a really important moment here as well. And there's certain alignment with you and your opponent, even in as far as the fact both of you earned victories on that prior PFL Africa card in July, and both won via split decision. And he has that prior experience on the EFC circuit and stuff like that. I guess, what are your thoughts on Boule Godogo's primary skill set and resume from what you've seen?
You just destroyed his name even before I did. His name is Boule Godogo. So what I knew about him, he has the same background as me, as judo, and after judo, I guess he jumped to boxing just like I did. So I guess we kind of have a similar background, but unfortunately for him, I'm better everywhere. I'm a better grappler, I'm a better striker overall. So I guess since it will be fire against fire, it will be a huge explosion. So, but unfortunately for him, the explosion will be bigger from my side. So, yeah, I think this matchup will be unmatched. Will be my best performance so far, and I can guarantee a finish. I know the only critic that people can give me is I didn't finish my opponent. But I know how to win a fight. But sometimes, I don't take as much risk as I should. But this time I'm taking risk. Fuck it. I'm going there for the finish, and you guys will see a huge finish. That's it.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that for sure. And I guess one of the last things that I wanted to touch on, because judo seems like such an important foundational piece for you in your overall martial arts journey. And the last time we were talking, it was somewhat freshly on the heels of Kayla Harrison, obviously multi-time judo Olympic gold medalist, really standing out and capturing UFC gold and everything like that. And you were talking about how judo is the strongest. I guess curious to get your thoughts on that Kayla Harrison Amanda Nunes fight that they haven't really officially booked yet per se, but big news.
Is it official?
Oh no, just to say, I'm saying it's not official. Like just to say that it's a thing they're planning to do, but hasn't formally been booked. But just still all the same, curious to get your thoughts on that Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes fight that they are targeting for the future.
Well, this is an incredible matchup. But the thing is, fuck, man. I mean, Nunes is the GOAT. It's hard to go against her, even though I had to go with my fellow judoka in Kayla Harrison. So if, fuck. No, I have to go with Amanda Nunes, since, her, judo is not all, you still have to have a strong ground game. Kayla Harrison have more a style like me. She want to control, do some damage. But I feel like Amanda Nunes might be more complete on the ground. Even though Kayla Harrison might be a better wrestler, judoka slash. So, but fuck, Amanda Nunes, she's unmatched on her feet. Her boxing, and everything, jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I'll go with Amanda Nunes by knockout. Yeah.
Yeah, just such an exciting landscape and everything like that. And it's been really cool to get to talk to you today, and even in a broader sense, following along with your journey in MMA, like a great spot here with this PFL Africa 3 fight and everything. But I also do want to be mindful of your time and schedule, Karim. I appreciate the insights, but curious if you have any final parting thoughts you'd like to add as we're wrapping up.
Yeah, watch my fight on October 18. I'm going for a spectacular finish in the most beautiful fashion, and I'm going to be the first Algerian Canadian PFL African champ. And I want to wrap with this.
Yeah, I mean, you've collected several amateur titles, so this would seem like a very pronounced next step up. So, yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, it's time to collect the professional belt now, and I'm there now. That was my dream to get all the professional belts. So the PFL, the UFC, all the belts. That's why I'm here. So let's start with the PFL African belt. Then I'll go for the PFL International belt, and who knows, maybe one day the undisputed UFC belt. And hope Mirab is still there. I'm coming for him.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting matchup to consider for sure. I mean, definitely would love to see that. And I've heard Marab wants to fight until he's 50, so you got plenty of time for that, I think.
There you go. So I hope you see this video one day. I'm coming for you.
That's a future chapter potentially, and one I would like to see. But the next chapter in Karim Henniene's story unfurling on October 18th, as you said, PFL Africa 3, Boule Godogo. Hopefully, I got that a little bit better. But in any
You
event,
did
thank
it.
you. But thank you for coming on MMA Canada today, Karim. It's always great getting to chat with you, man. You have a good rest of your day, and looking forward to the fight when it happens and checking it out and all. Thank you.
Yes, thanks to you, Dylan. We catch up soon.